Hello everyone, welcome back to Think Outside the Board for the fourth and final crowdfunding roundup of February 2024, which means that in today's video, I'm going to be looking at campaigns that launched between February the 21st and the 27th and sharing with you what I think are the best campaigns for you to back that launched during that period. As usual, my videos are tabbed or bookmarked, so you can just scroll over the play bar, find exactly the content that you're looking for, and go right to that section if you don't have time to watch the whole video. And there are links to all of the campaigns that I'm talking about, so if something strikes a chord with you, you can go down in that description section below, find the name of the game, click on the link, it will take you to the campaign, you can look at it more, and then possibly back it. And the best way to support the channel for the time being continues to be to like and subscribe, and I very much appreciate it if people want to do that. It helps the channel grow, and I am planning on launching teach and review videos and live streaming of games later this year, so the more likes and subscribes I get, the quicker I can get to that. Now, we do have 7 campaigns to get through today, so let's just go ahead and get started. The first of these is Street Masters Champion Edition. As we can see right here, they've got $323,000 in funding, which is about 10 times their funding goal. This campaign launched on the 21st of February. It's almost a week out from the rest of the launches. The rest of the launches were on the 27th. So it's also the quickest to finish. There's only 5 days left on this campaign, and it's going to complete on March 6th. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would recommend hopping to it, taking a look at it, and pledging it. You've only got 6 days to pledge this from the time that I'm recording, which means by the time I edit and post, probably be a day or two less than that. This is a game that's existed before, and that means we can go over and look at it on Board Game Geek. This is the score for the original Street Masters. It has an 8.0, which is a pretty solid score, and their complexity rating is a 2.84. I say anything over a 2.55 is medium heavy, and anything over a 3.33 is heavy. So this puts that in the medium heavy range, on the lighter side of the medium heavy range. Now, the Street Masters game, and there's been a bunch of expansions, was originally designed by the Sadler brothers, who may be known to people from Descent Journeys in the Dark 2nd Edition, the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game, or Warhammer Quest the Adventure card game. Now, the Sadlers got caught up with a publisher named Blacklist Games, who published several of their games, and that was run by a shyster, a shyster named Alex Lim, who hasn't delivered several of the campaigns from Blacklist Games, and the company essentially has gone bankrupt. And Street Masters was, I think, one of the games that was caught up in that. It's sort of been rescued. It's been rescued by Steamforged Games, who are running this latest campaign. So this is a way for people who haven't gotten the game in the past because it kind of disappeared to be able to pledge it now. Now, the art on this is by Giorgio De Michel, who's worked on Evolution, Race, Formula 90, and Toledo. And it's being published by Steamforged Games, who's probably best known for Dark Souls, the board game, Guild Ball, and Resident Evil 2, the board game. Although I like them most because they helped rescue another game fairly recently called Euthia. And that was a game where the publisher ran one Kickstarter, kind of delivered it at a loss, started the next Kickstarter where they thought they would make some money, and it didn't initially go well, and they realized they were just in over their head. They weren't going to be able to continue their company. So they decided to shutter their company, but then Steamforged Games showed up and helped them deliver that second campaign for Euthia Torment of Resurrection. And I'm very excited about that because that was one of the best rated games the year that it initially shipped, and I now have it in my possession, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to live streaming. So I haven't historically been a huge fan of Steamforged Games in general, but I'm very happy that they helped Euthia get a second lease on life and help that publisher, Dia Games, hopefully dig themselves out of a hole that they'd gotten themselves into. Now, they're not doing the same thing with Blacklist Games because Blacklist Games was being run by somebody who was not above board. So it's not that the company needs saving, but the game needs saving. So here we are. So they're bringing Street Masters back with a new expansion. It's essentially the 4th iteration of the game. The first is the core box, and then they had 2 kind of bigger expansions previously. All of that stuff was available in this campaign. It is a miniatures co-op fighter. It's based on video game fighters. The name's Street Masters, which definitely evokes Street Fighter. So it's pulling from that and other video game style fighters. Now we're going to take a look at the 1.5 minute video, and then we'll go over the 4 pledges and the add-ons. That is Street Masters. And I also should mention that there's a 3rd designer on this new expansion, the item that's new with this campaign, and that is Sherwin Matthews. And I believe that Sherwin has done most of the heavy lifting on that expansion, working from the Sadler brothers' previous design. All right, let's take a look at these pledges. So the first one here, and I'm going to mention shipping, and always when I mention shipping, I'm talking in terms of US dollars. So if you're anywhere else in the world, even if you're in Alaska, Hawaii, so you're not in the lower 48, you will want to check the shipping for your area. But I'm talking continental US, lower 48, those are the shipping numbers that I use. So the first pledge here is called the Veteran Fighter Pledge. That is for the new expansion. So for some amazing set of circumstances, you actually have everything because you somehow got it in the past and you didn't fall victim to some of what had been going on with Blacklist Games and all of their undelivered stuff. If you have everything already, then maybe the only thing that you need is the new expansion, which is called Lament of the Blood Moon. And that is what's going to be included in this Veteran Fighter Pledge. This is a $50 pledge with $25 in shipping, or $75 total. Now, if we move to the next pledge, the Aspirant Pledge, this is a $70 pledge with $25 in shipping, or $95 total. This is going to get you the Tide of the Dragon expansion. That was essentially the 3rd expansion, or the 3rd version of the game. So the 2nd expansion, the 3rd version of the game. But it was a standalone expansion. So it's something that you can play by itself. That is true of the 1st box and the 3rd box, but not the 2nd or the 4th. The 4th being the new expansion, Lament of the Blood Moon. So this pledge will get you that 3rd box, Tide of the Dragon. It will also come with the Rumble Pack, a new Challengers Pack, and yeah, it can be played standalone. So this is a $95 pledge in total. The new Challenger Pledge, that's the 3rd pledge of the campaign, is a $141 pledge with $35 in shipping, or $176 total. Now this is going to come with the core game, which is called Rise of the Kingdom. But they are baking in some previous expansions, some of the smaller mini expansions, so it's kind of a new version. It's going to come with all of the stretch goals from the original Kickstarter, and it's going to come with the Legend of Oni expansion and the Twin Tigers expansion, as well as the Redemption Pack 1. So from now on, moving forward with this new version of the game, all of those things are going to be included in that new core box, and that is the new Challenger Pledge. Finally, the fourth pledge of the campaign, the Global Gladiator Pledge, which is a $360 pledge with $73 in shipping for $433 total. That's going to come with everything from that previous pledge, so everything from New Challenger. That means the new core box with all of that stuff baked in, but then they're going to throw on the other three bigger expansions. So you've got Aftershock, which was the second box, which was an expansion. You've got Tide of the Dragon, which is the standalone expansion. That's what's coming in the Aspirant Pledge, so you'll also be getting that. And you'll be getting the new expansion, Lament of the Blood Moon. And just for those who are curious about this, the first two campaigns were run by Blacklist on Kickstarter. I believe they were already in trouble with Kickstarter not delivering pledges by the time they went with their third campaign for Street Masters, which was the one for Tide of the Dragon. So that box was funded on Indiegogo, and that might not have been known to some people. So if you somehow missed that campaign altogether, since it was being run by Blacklist as well, it's probably good if you missed it. You may not have gotten it, even if you paid for it. But you may have not even known that campaign happened, but this is your opportunity now to get that content and to get it from a publisher that is not going to screw you over. So enough said about that. There are some optional buys on this. Right here in the optional buys section, so also known as add-ons. And this is essentially for the various boxes. So we've got that original Street Masters Rise of the Kingdom box here. This is going to be $139 as an add-on, and that's going to come packed with all that stuff I mentioned in the pledge. Then they've got the second iteration of Street Masters, which is now being called Street Masters 2. It's the Aftershock expansion. This one's not standalone. This is a $149 add-on if you want to go the add-on route. Street Masters 3, this is the one that went through Indiegogo originally. This is the one that is standalone. It's a smaller expansion, but it's standalone. It's $69 as an add-on. And then this is the new one, Lament of the Blood Moon. Also a smaller one, not standalone. And this is a $49 add-on. And then they just have additional copies of that Global Gladiator Pledge if you wanted to add on more of those. Everything here is Kickstarter exclusive, so it doesn't look like they're making plans for this to go to retail. So that does mean that this could be your real only chance to get this. So if you are interested in Street Masters and you're tired of having to deal with Blacklist games and you're excited for a company that's actually going to deliver the game for you for real, you may want to jump in on this, just because I don't know if you'll ever end up finding it at retail. And then finally, Steamforged is planning to deliver this project in February of 2025. From there, we're going to stay on Kickstarter actually for the whole video. And the next campaign that we're looking at here was a February 27th launch. And everything that we're going to be talking about from now on is a February 27th launch, which was Tuesday of this week. It's the big crowdfunding launch for board games in general. It currently is funded. They had a funding goal of $20,000. They're at $38,000, so about double their funding goal. And this campaign is going to run until March the 15th. Now, this is a new version of Ascending Empires. It's the Zenith edition. Ascending Empires was originally published by Z-Man Games, and that company was founded by Zev Slasinger in 2000. Then in 2011, he sold the company to another company called Philosophia, and he went to work for WizKids. Philosophia, with their new acquisition, renamed their company F2Z, so they have Philosophia and Z-Man Games in there, and then they sold that company, the combined company, to Asmodee in 2016. So Z-Man Games no longer exists. And if we go over here to Board Game Geek, we can see that Ascending Empires was originally published in 2011. So that was the same year that they were being sold off and combined into F2Z. Now, the original game has a 7.2 rating, which is solid, and it's got a complexity of 2.35. I usually say that anything over a 2 is medium light, anything over a 2.55 is medium heavy, so that puts this one really just kind of right in the middle of the medium light range. Now, this is a 4X game, space-themed. It was originally designed by Ian Cooper, who's worked on Seastead, Shapers of Gaia, and Tactica. There's new art on the new version of the game. If we look at the re-implemented version, we're going to see a different artist in there. Sergei Marcet has worked on Linko, the Manhattan Project, and Pioneer Days. And Play to Z is a new company from Zev Schlesinger. So when he was with Z-Man Games, they published the Pandemic Legacy games, A Feast for Odin, Gaia Project, and Terra Mystica. A lot of those games have different publishers now. I think Gaia Project and Terra Mystica are over at Capstone, but with all of the shakeups in that company, being sold off essentially twice, the games have changed where they're being published. So with his new company now, Play to Z, he has 2 more games coming in 2024, a game called Lynx and a game called King's Coalition. But I believe this is their first crowdfunding campaign here, and it may end up being their first published game. It just depends how quickly they get this out in comparison with the other 2 games. So we're going to watch this very quick 1-minute video. I'm not a fan of how this is hard to remove. There we go. And then we'll take a look at the only pledge level in this campaign. So this is a very simple campaign. You're either going to be in on this or not. You're going to pledge it or you're not. There's not add-ons. There's just the one thing. So yeah, I mean, either you want to back this, you're excited about it, you're going to do it, or that's it. There's no deluxe version. There's not a lot of extra stuff. There's just the back it or don't back it.
Humanity, splintered into nations in search of refuge, has re-emerged as formidable galactic empires. In the all-new Ascending Empires Zenith Edition, you will venture across the star map, striving to expand your territory across the quadrants. Explore by moving your starships into planets' orbit. Exploit your newly discovered planets as you build, deploy, and interact, all while advancing your abilities through technological research. Overwhelm other planets by exterminating your opponent's defenses. Achieve victory by fulfilling missions, expanding across the quadrants, building structures, and accumulating victory points throughout the game. This re-release features exciting new megastructures, ancient libraries, guardians, solo play, and more. Back Ascending Empire Zenith Edition now.
Right, so they're being smart about this. They know that there are people out there who want this, and probably a lot of people who don't know about it, so they're not being complicated with this campaign. They're just giving you the opportunity to get this new version. And the only pledge that we need to concern ourselves with is the Ascending Empire Zenith Edition pledge. It's $110. It's got $33 in shipping, $143 total, and it's going to be shipped in October 2024. At least that's what they're shooting for right now. So that is campaign 2 of the week. Now from there, we're going to go to Cascadia Rolling, the latest campaign from Flat Out Games. I hate how this is kind of tricky to get it to disappear. It's my new annoying thing about the Kickstarter UI design that they've just kind of redone a little bit. Anyway, this is from Flat Out Games. It had an $8,000 funding goal. They're currently at $142,000. So they're doing great for the size of this funding goal, which means they have the highest multiplier of the video of the week at 18 times. So they're at 18 times their funding goal. All right. Now, this campaign is going to run until April the 5th. And this is 2 new flippin' rights and rollin' rights. They are both. They use both dice rolling and card flipping. They're really probably more flippin' rights, but then they're using dice as well. And this game is designed by Randy Flynn, who designed Cascadia, and Tabriz. And the art on this is from Beth Sobel, who is an amazing, super prolific artist in the board game world. Her 5 titles that are best known right now are Arboretum, Calico, Cascadia, Viticulture, and Wingspan. And the publisher, Flat Out Games, has put out Calico, Cascadia, Fit to Print, Point City, and Verdant. What we're going to do, because there's a very long, like a 7 or 8 minute video here, we're just going to watch up to the 3-minute 40-second mark, which I think gives you most of what you need to see. And then we'll go over the 3 pledges that you need to be concerned with.
From the team that brought you the award-winning smash hit, Cascadia, are 2 exciting new flip and roll and write games for the whole family. Cascadia Rolling Rivers and Cascadia Rolling Hills are set in the majestic landscape of the Pacific Northwest. These are standalone games based in the world of Cascadia, winner of both the 2022 Spiel des Jahres Game of the Year and the 2021 American Tabletop Award for Strategy Game of the Year. Designed by Randy Flynn, illustrated by Beth Sobel, and developed by the Flat Out Games Collab, these 2 small box games play 1 to 4 players on their own, but can be combined to play up to 8. The core mechanics of the games are simple. Players roll dice, take actions to manipulate the results, then collect wildlife in order to complete habitat cards to fill different environments in Cascadia. Each round, 1 player rolls the 4 central dice, and all players roll their 2 personal dice in their own play area. Based on the results of both of these sets of dice, players can choose to use nature tokens to do dice actions to improve the results, and then collect wildlife by recording them on their tally sheets. Each version of Cascadia Rolling comes with a unique special central action die that provides different special dice actions so that each roll presents a new puzzle. Once players have collected wildlife using the dice, they will then decide whether they wish to complete any of the available habitat cards. They do this by subtracting the wildlife cost of their card from their tally sheet and then claiming the rewards of that card. Each round, cards will advance through the play area like a conveyor belt, creating new relationships between the habitat cards and the completion cards they are adjacent to for that round. Completion cards can provide discounts to the wildlife costs of the habitats or additional bonuses for completing them. Once a habitat card is completed, players check the size of the habitat and then fill in their environment sheet according to the unique rules of that sheet. Doing so will not only score you points, but also trigger combos where you can gain additional rewards and actions each turn. At the end of each round, a new habitat card will be revealed, and all the habitat cards will be advanced 1 space. That's all there is to it. The game ends when there are no further habitat cards to reveal. Each game, players choose which of the 4 environment sheets will be played by the group. Each sheet has unique gameplay elements and a complexity rating. In Cascadia Rolling Hills, you'll explore breathtaking open landscapes like the Palouse, Zumwalt, and Craters of the Moon. Cascadia Rolling Rivers includes 4 unique environment sheets for the Tachincini-Alsek, Fraser, Columbia, and Elwha rivers. With both copies of the game, cards and dice can be combined for greater variety and replayability, giving you many more ways to play. The family mode simplifies the dice action and completion card rules so that anyone can get into the game. Cascadia Rolling Rivers and Cascadia Rolling Hills are also excellent solo games. The rest of our previously released small box games have become popular because of their high-quality game design, product design, and overall experience. Cascadia Rolling Hills and Cascadia Rolling Rivers are no exception. These games will make great additions to any collection because they're easy to take with you, easy to get to the table, accommodate higher player counts, and provide a range of complexity for players of all ages and experience levels.
All right, so that's where we're going to stop, and then we're going to look at the pledges. Okay, so first up, We're not going to bother with the Pledge Manager pledge, but they do have one. Everyone has one. And they have a pledge here that's just for print and plays. So it's called Cascadia, Rolling, Print and Plays. There are essentially two new versions of this roll and write. There's one called Rolling Rivers and Rolling Hills. They're just two variations on the theme. And if you back at this level, you will get both, but you'll just get the print and play files. And because it's just files, there's no shipping involved, this one will come to you quicker than the physical games. They'll get this one out in April 2024 after the campaign ends. But if you actually want a physical copy of the game, you've got a couple choices over here. And starting with the Rolling Hills Kickstarter edition, it's a $19 pledge. It's going to have $9 in shipping for $28 total. It's going to come with a promo pack, and you'll also be getting the P&P files. So you'll still get this stuff. You're just going to get the physical version for one of the games. There's a second pledge, same deal, but for Rolling Rivers. So $19, $9 shipping, $28 includes the promo pack and the PMP files. And then the third non-print and play pledge is this Cascadia, Rolling Hills, and Rivers. So you're going to get both physical editions, $35, again $9 in shipping, $44 total, and that's also going to come with the promo packs and the PMP files. Now, there are a couple other pledges that we're not going to concern ourselves with. These are just for multiple copies of the game. And then they have one that's kind of crazy. That's called the Founders Edition, which is $300. You know, it's like 10 times more than you'd otherwise be paying for this bundle. But it has a lot of extras and things that I call vanity rewards that aren't necessarily gameplay related, but you know, maybe you're going to have this signed thing from the designer or a special card made just for you and your likeness, that kind of thing. Your name as a founder on the Cascadia Rolling website. That's the kind of stuff in there. I'm not going to go over all of it, but it is something that most people don't want or need to pledge. You're just throwing extra money at the publisher if you have extra money and you really like the publisher and you want to support them. But I think in general, most people are going to be looking at either the print and play files, one version of the physical game, or the bundle with both. And the physical stuff from this campaign, Flat Out and AEG are planning to deliver in August 2024. So April for the P&P files, August for the physical games themselves. And that brings us to Dying Light, the board game. This one is $529,000 in funding off of a $54,000 funding goal. So they're almost at 10 times that funding goal, but not quite. And this campaign is going to run until March the 20th. Now, this is being put out by Glass Cannon Unplugged, which hasn't done that many games yet, but I've been very impressed by what they have done, which is Frostpunk, the board game. That's really the only game that they've produced that has delivered. They have another game that they have already crowdfunded. It's going to be delivering this year. It's called Apex Legends, the board game. I don't believe it's delivered yet, so that will make Dying Light their third game. And I am a huge fan of the Dying Light video game, so I'm actually very excited about this. And I'm also excited that it's being put out by Glass Cannon, who did an amazing job with Frostpunk. A lot of times video game IPs are done as a cash-in. They're not done very well. Glass Cannon Unplugged seems to be cornering the video game market since it's the third one now in a row that they're doing. They're 3 for 3. But they, from everything I've seen, from the games that they have put out and the ones that are in the pipeline, they seem to be handling these so well, with such great care, and they're very well developed and designed. So this is something that I think you can definitely get behind, and it's probably something that I'm personally going to be backing since I'm such a huge fan of the video game series. Okay, so the designers here are Bartosz Tamala and Przemysław Zub. Przemysław previously worked on a game called Zerawia, and this is a cooperative or solo game. It uses miniatures, and it's got like exploration and various missions and things that you're going to be going out on. It's also not that complicated a campaign, so we're going to watch the video here. It's shorter than the last one. It's about a minute and a half, and then we'll take a look at the 2 pledges that are being offered with this campaign, as well as a couple of add-ons.
Run. When prophets drafted out the apocalypse, I bet they never pictured it being this wild. Never knowing whether it's your last sunset makes it that much more thrilling to face the terrors of the night. Rule number 2, no matter how good you think you become at holding your own, the next wake-up call is just around the corner. Rule number 1, don't even think you can go at it alone. Greetings from the capital of humanity. Drop by for the sights, stay for the nightlife. And if you're here for the full package, wait till we go unplugged.
Okay, a bit shorter and simpler than the last video. I've noticed that this is not disappearing here. Let's see if I can... Okay, I think I fixed that little blue button that was stuck on my screen and appeared through the last 2 videos. So let's just move forward and take a look at the pledges for this one. We've got a standard pledge here for $65 with $21 in shipping, $86 total. That is going to come with the core version of the game, the stretch goals, and the Gold Dawn weapon charm. If you want to go a little bit bigger and get the deluxe pledge, this is a $119 pledge with $24 in shipping or $143 total. It's going to add on 2 things to that previous pledge, the Infected Miniatures expansion and the Glass Smasher weapon. There are 2 things that are not included in either pledge. Let's see, add-ons and expansions. There's this Windmill expansion, which is $38 as an add-on, and this gives you this new... Well, it's a windmill, but essentially it's like terrain. That's what that's going to look like on the board. And then there is a character expansion, the Kyle Crane expansion, which is $11 as an add-on. So that's going to give you his character kind of parkouring off the wall and some cards and things. And then finally, they've also got acrylic standees as an add-on. This also is $38. So... that's what those look like. Oh, and they've added on card sleeves. So the card sleeves, premium card sleeves for everything in the game. This is going to be, let's see, $15, so $17 as an add-on for the sleeves for everything. And none of those add-ons are included in any of the pledges. In fact, when I was prepping this video yesterday, the sleeves and the acrylic standees weren't even here. So they've been adding on more things, and it's probably not unlikely that they'll end up doing a bundle pledge later in the campaign that includes these extras. But if they don't do that, if they don't end up putting in a pledge with these things, then you will need to add them on if you want them, because the deluxe pledge just includes those 5 items we mentioned: the stretch goals, the core box, the infected miniatures, and the 2 extra digital items. And then finally, Glass Cannon is planning on delivering this bad boy in June of 2025. All right, from there, we're going to go to our 5th campaign of the week for Floe. This is another one that I'm actually personally very excited about. They've got $323 in funding currently. It's about 4 times their funding goal of $81,000, and this campaign is going to run until March 19th. Now, this is coming from Pika Games, which is a sub-imprint of Fantasia Games. And Pika, the first thing that they did is some expansions for a game called Sweet Mess. So Sweet Mess was another game that ran into problems in production, and I don't think it ever delivered successfully originally. But one of the designers / artists on that game, Yoma, has been involved in other Fantasia game stuff. He's actually the main person behind the publishing entity known as Fantasia Games, and he's been involved in a lot of their other designs and their artwork. They've crowdfunded stuff like Endless Winter and Unconscious Mind, and they'll be back later this year with a new version of Colosseum. But they have this side imprint called Pika that seems like they're using for more kind of family-friendly games, things with a cuter art style. And so when Sweet Mess didn't work out, Pika Games kind of saved that game. And as they did that, they created 2 new expansions for it. So you will see Pika credited as the publisher for 2 expansions of Sweet Mess, even though they weren't the original publisher of Sweet Mess. It was a company called Big Kid Games that I believe went under trying to fulfill that campaign. But Pika was the one that ended up saving it and creating a couple more expansions in the process. So now they're doing a campaign for a completely original game, and it's a lot of the same people as Fantasia games. It's kind of like how Kids Table Board Games and Burnt Island Games are essentially the same people. They're just putting out some games for older adults, maybe more gamers, and then titles that are aimed more at kids. I wouldn't say that Pika is aimed at kids, but they are kind of more family-friendly, cute games, potentially appealing to a more mainstream audience than some of the more complex stuff that you're going to find in Endless Winter or Unconscious Mind. So, Floe was designed by 3 designers, Henry Audubon, who's worked on Cosmoctopus, Parks, and Trails, Johnny Pack, who's designed Coloma, Lions of Lydia, Merchant's Cove, and Unconscious Mind, and then Yoma, who's worked on Sweet Mess and Unconscious Mind. And there are 2 artists, Andrew Bosley, who I love, great artist, probably best known for Everdell, Mission Red Planet 2nd Edition, and Tapestry. And then Yoma, who as an artist has worked on Endless Winter, Paleo-Americans, Legacies, Planet Unknown, and Unconscious Mind. And this is a game that has kind of a grab bag of mechanics, probably most centrally action points and variable player powers. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the video here. It's a little bit longer, but not as long as the Cascadia, the one that we didn't watch all the way through. This is a 3.5-minute video, and then we'll look at the 4 different pledges that you can pledge in this campaign.
Crystal Kingdom, once a marvel with its splendor and riches unrivaled. Then came the curse, a darkness that shattered the great crystal dome, bringing our kingdom to ruin. Engulfed in ice, it became a legacy frozen in the past. Today, many of us descendants enjoy a peaceful life at the edge of the iceberg sea. To handle the cold, we savor fiery red kelp at the noodle bar and enjoy long soaks in the steamy wading pool. But alas, whispering winds and furled sails call. The bravest of us set out to find rare materials and lost treasures, and to rediscover our forgotten lands. Drawn to the remnants of our crystal dome, some will even delve into the perilous caves below, where fearsome creatures lie in wait. Welcome to Floe, a realm of crystalline beauty, shadowed by chilling mysteries.
this venture excels in crafting and fighting thematic strategy games with outstanding artwork and top-notch production. Floe, our first title, pushes the boundaries of an adventure-style Eurogame hybrid to the next level, with a dynamic unlocking system that broadens your experience with each play. Plus, the Monsters Unleashed expansion adds colossal monster miniatures, new heroes and familiars, captivating gameplay scenarios, and a challenging co-op mode. Join us now as we go with the flow.
So if we scroll down here, we'll take a look at their various pledges. The first one is called Explorer. This is a $71 pledge with $18 in shipping for $89 total. This is going to get you the standard version of the game here and the stretch goal box. That's essentially what this is. It's called Life Along Floe, but it's the collected stretch goals. Now, I do want to show you something because there is this standard version here, and then there's a deluxe version. So again, this is the deluxe version. All this stuff is packed in. If you're getting the standard version, it's going to look more like this. So you still do have a little bit of a game tray system, and you do have some miniatures. But you're not going to be getting everything and all of the upgraded components that you're getting with the deluxe version. So that's the kind of stripped down standard version. If we go up to the next level pledge, which is Adventurer, this is where you're going to start to get that bigger, more robust deluxe version of the game. This one's an $86 pledge, $19 of shipping, $105 total. This will get you the deluxe version of the game and the stretch goals, and then also a digital soundtrack. And as we go up in pledges, we're just going to add things on. So Floe Hero, which is a $116 pledge with $25 in shipping or $141 total, that's going to take that previous pledge and just add on the Monsters Unleashed expansion, which includes more monsters for you to fight, kind of bigger miniatures and things like that. And then their fourth and final pledge is called Epic Hero. This is a $145 pledge with $27 in shipping or $172 total. This adds on some quality of life extras. So with this version, you're going to be getting everything in the previous pledge level, but then you're also going to get custom sleeves, a bigger collector's box that you can store everything in, and a playmat bundle. Now, there are no add-ons in this, so you just need to pledge at the level that you're getting what you want. There's no way to piecemeal this. If we go down here, we can see like they're showing you the things that are included. If there was the ability to add on add-ons, they would be in a separate section underneath, but they're not doing that. So you just are going to be dealing with, there are different SKUs. You need to pick a lane, get that pledge, and you will not have the ability to add things on. So 4 different pledges to choose from. You got the standard, you've got the deluxe with Monsters Unleashed, and then the deluxe with Monsters Unleashed and the sleeves, collector's box, and playmats. So those are your 4 choices, and Fantasia and Pika Games are planning to deliver Floe in June of 2025. So they've given themselves some time on this one. From there, we're going to take a look at Ostia, the Pirates expansion, and Reprint. This currently has $164,000 in funding off of a $10,000 funding goal, so they're operating at, about 16 times that funding goal. Now, this is I hate this thing. I hate the way Kickstarter has done this. Anytime you kind of mouse over that, it wants to put that menu up. So Ostia originally was published in 2022. It has a 7.8 rating on Board Game Geek, which is pretty good. It's got a weight of 2.87, which is over the line into medium heavy. And it's designed by Tatsuka Chuo, who also designed Aqua Garden. And the publisher here, Yuchi Bakoya, is Tatsuka Chuo's publishing entity. They've also published Aqua Garden. There are 2 different artists working on Ostia. There's Tatsuki Asano, who's worked on Biohack, which is another game from Yuchi Bakoya that's supposed to come out in 2024. And he also worked on Sapporo 1876. And then Yorabi Rocinante, who worked on Amalfi and Aqua Garden. We're going to go back over here. I'd like to scroll down, but this menu makes it hard to do that. Hopefully Kickstarter will eventually make some changes to this UI that they've recently implemented. But let's make note of the fact that this new Ostia campaign is going to be running until March the 26th. So we'll take a look at the video here, and then we'll go over the 6 pledges and add-ons.
In the year 103, Emperor Trajan expanded and improved Ostia Portus, a vital harbor of Rome. This scenic hexagonal harbor served as a hub for a diverse array of goods, arriving from every corner of the globe. In Ostia, players assume the role of fleet owners, lending their ships to merchants and nobles to expand their businesses. Ostia is a strategic game based on Mancala. Ostia Pirates is a major expansion set that enriches the strategic depth of Ostia. It introduces 4 new elements: Pirates, Trajan's Market, Supporters and Origins, and Ostia Town, each creating novel and distinct developments. Pirates pose a great threat to your fleet, but triumph over these adversaries and the profits can also be great. At Trajan's Market, you will have the chance to captivate the hearts of the people and earn their enduring esteem. With Supporters and Origins, you will find steadfast allies to assist you in your every endeavor. In Ostia Town, you will construct grand buildings and structures to garner praise from its denizens. Ostia Pirates offers new choices and challenges while elevating the competitive landscape among players. Who will gain the most fame in these tumultuous times?
Okay, so 6 pledges for this campaign. And if it's not evident from that, it's a city building game that works largely on a Mancala mechanic. You know, where you're going around in a circle. So there's a standard pledge here. This is a $39 pledge with $19 in shipping. So $58 total, and that's just going to include the new Pirates expansion with the stretch goals. So this assumes that you already have the base game Ostia. The next pledge level is the deluxe pledge. This is a $64 pledge with $19 in shipping, $83 total. And this is going to get you the Pirates expansion, the stretch goals, and it's going to throw in the metal treasure set. Now you can see here, if you're watching the video, there was all of these kind of wooden treasure chests. The metal treasure set is literally just metal chests. I kind of liken it to the metal cars in Kanban EV or the metal wheels in Weather Machine. And they're not cheap, but this pledge takes the previous pledge, adds on the metal treasure chests to that. From there, we've got the base game and the Pirates pledge. So this is for someone who doesn't have the base game yet. It's like the first pledge, the standard, but it's adding on the base game. So it's an $87 pledge, $19 in shipping, $106 total. Now, if we move to this pledge, we've got base game plus Pirates plus 2 expansions. So this is a $107 pledge with $23 in shipping, $131 total, and it's the same pledge as above, but they're adding on 2 smaller expansions, the Merchants and Patronus. But you're still getting Ostia, you're still getting the Pirates expansion, you're still getting the stretch goals. Then in the base game bundle, we're kind of going back to the second pledge, the deluxe, which included Pirates and the metal treasure set, and then they're adding on the base game to that pledge. So with this one, you're getting the metal treasure set, you're just not getting those additional expansions. This is a $112 pledge with $23 in shipping, or $135 total. And then if you want the metal treasure chests and the expansions, so kind of everything here, you've got the deluxe bundle. This is a $132 pledge with $23 in shipping, or $155 total. And with this one, you're getting the Ostia base game, the Pirates expansion, the metal treasure set, and those 2 expansions, Merchant and Patronus, and of course the stretch goals. So there are some add-ons you can do. They do have add-on prices. If we click on this section, you're going to see what those are. So you can always add on more copies of the base game for $48. You can add on more copies of the new Pirates expansion for $39. You've got those smaller expansions that you can add on for $10 each, Merchant and Patronus. You got the Metal Treasure Set, $25 as an add-on. And then there are 2 items here that are not included in any of the pledges. So if you want these 2 things, you will need to add them on no matter what pledge level you're backing at. There is a dual layer board set for $20, dual layer player boards. And then there's a new supporters expansion, just a very small thing, some cards, $2 as an add-on. And then they've got more add-ons related to other games that they're publishing. You can add on games in the Sapporo line, and you can add on games in the Biohack line, and then also the Aqua Garden series. So any of those things can be added on. And then finally, Yuchi is planning on delivering the new Ostia Pirates and everything else in November 2024. So this year. That brings us to our final campaign of the video. It is for Thunder Road Vendetta Carnival of Chaos, and this is the most funded game of the week. They are currently at over $1 million, $1,050,000. That's off of a $300,000 funding goal. So they had a very big funding goal, which means they're operating at about 3.5 times that funding goal. Now, again, because this is a game that already exists, we can go ahead and take a look at it over on Board Game Geek. So Thunder Road Vendetta originally delivered last year, huge hit. It's got an 8.0, the base game here over on Board Game Geek, and it's got a weight of 2.02, so that's very light. That is just over the line into a medium light game. It is a car racing game that's got dice rolling, player elimination, and take that. And the original game here is designed by a big panel of designers. There's like 7 of them. But the most known designers are probably Rob Daviau, Justin D. Jacobson, and Brian Neff. Now, Rob Daviau is best known for Cthulhu Death May Die, the Pandemic Legacy series, Return to Dark Tower, Ticket to Ride Legacy Legends of the West, and Unmatched games, most notably Cobble and Fog. Justin D. Jacobson is sort of the owner of Restoration Games, which is the publisher, and he's worked in design on a lot of their games. And then their kind of main in-house designer at this point is Brian Neff, and he's worked on Betrayal Legacy, Return to Dark Tower, and all of the Unmatched games. Now, the artists here are Marie Bergeron, who's worked on the original Thunder Road Vendetta base game, as well as Unmatched Adventures, Tales to a Maze, and then Garrett Kaida, who's worked on Football Highlights 2052, Return to Dark Tower, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, the original Thunder Road Vendetta, and Unmatched Battles of Legends Volume 2. And then as a publishing entity, Restoration Games is best known for Downforce, Fireball Island, The Curse of Volcar, Return to Dark Tower, Thunder Road Vendetta, and the Unmatched games. I would say that they kind of have 2 gigs going on. One is the Unmatched series, which is a card fighter, and there are many different sets involved with that, and most of that is retail, although they did go to crowdfunding with their cooperative set. But they're doing big business in retail with all of their Unmatched sets. And then they go to crowdfunding and they do kind of new versions of nostalgia games from like the 80s and 90s. And that's how they did Return to Dark Tower. That's how they did Thunder Road Vendetta and Fireball Island, The Curse of Volcar. And then I should also mention that this campaign is going to run until March the 18th. So let's get rid of this. Okay. Let's take a look at the video here, and then we'll go over the 3 different pledges and the various add-ons.
Hello there, all you road racers and wasteland warriors. It's your Highness of the Highway and your very best friend, Turbo Tina. And you know what that means. It's time for the Carnival of Chaos and my biggest bash yet. As always, the crew that earns the most scrap at the end of this demolition derby wins. And you all know the best way to get that scrap. That's right. Shoot, slam, and smash your fellow fighters into oblivion. Put on a show, hit the spotlight, and you'll make it rain scrap. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of lovely new party favorites, too. Solid gold muffler, anyone? To help with the carnage, my tricky tacky has come up with some of the sickest super weapons you've ever seen. The Thwumper will have you hopping on cars like a mutated jackalope. Or maybe you're hankering to barbecue a badass buggy with the laser kebab. Come on, grab these gizmos and get your trigger finger loose. So, here's my first decree. Slam the pedal to the metal, hit that red line, and get your rear in gear. Cause Tina Town is hopping, and the Carnival of Chaos is officially open.
Right, so it probably has more in common with something like Wasteland Express Delivery Service than a pure racing game like Heat Pedal to the Metal. Now, this reminds me a little bit of the first campaign that we looked at, Street Masters, because there's been multiple campaigns, multiple expansions for this one. And the latest one is called Carnival of Chaos. That's kind of their new expansion that they're doing with this. And you can get everything through this campaign. So there's a pledge manager pledge, but the first pledge that we're really concerned with here is called Ticket to the Show. So that's going to get you the new expansion, Carnival of Chaos, including all of the stretch goals. It's a $45 pledge with $25 in shipping, or $70 total. That assumes, of course, that you have the base game. If you don't, you may want to start here with Maximum Chrome. So this is kind of their new big box. It's $160 for this pledge, $30 in shipping, $190 total. The big box is back, includes the Thunder Road Vendetta base game, all prior expansions, plus bonus content in one big custom foil stamp box. And then it says you can add individual add-ons, including Carnival of Chaos, when you complete your pledge, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that is kind of the big box, not including the newest expansion. If you want to get everything, though, you've got Tina's Dynamite Deal of the Day. This is a $200 pledge, $30 in shipping, $230 total. This is going to get you the big box, same as the previous pledge, but it's going to add on a few more things. It's going to add on the Carnival of Chaos expansion, the new one, as well as a box extender that's going to fit into your big box and give you more room. It's literally going to extend your big box, so you will then have room for Carnival of Chaos. And they're also throwing in the metal scrap tokens. Okay. This last one here is just for brick and mortar game stores. So it's not one that we really need to worry about too much. Okay, so here is Maximum Chrome. This is the new big box. This is what this is going to look like. And it's going to come loaded up with the mini expansion extra ammo and the 3 previous expansions. So Big Rig Final 5, Carnage at Devil's Run, and Chop Shop. So all of that is in this big box. You can get a more pared down version here of Thunder Road Vendetta. This is like a kind of a standard version. It's cheaper. It's $60. It's only as an add-on, and it's just the base game. So you're not getting all the expansions with that. You're just getting the base game. If you're wanting to keep it simple, right? And you can add on the various expansions. So Part 2, they're calling it Part 2, but this is Big Rig and the Final 5. $40 as an add-on. Carnage at Devil's Run, also $40 as an add-on. This is, Part 3 or Expansion 2. They've also got Chop Shop as an add-on, Part 4 or Expansion 3. A little bit smaller, a little bit less expensive, $25 as an add-on. Now, if you were to get the base game and all these expansions at the prices listed, it would be $165, which means if you pledge for that Maximum Chrome big box that includes everything, which is $160, you're actually getting everything for $5 less, plus you're getting this storage solution. Now, the box extender here, this is kind of a look at it, it's going to fit into the box. They're going to be selling this, or the MSRP in the future, if they do sell it, is $20, but it's free for this campaign. So if you already have the big box, or if you're going to get the big box and you also want to get Carnival of Chaos and store it all together, just make sure that you add on the box extender in the Pledge Manager, but it will be free to do so. And the final element that they have here is a folded space insert. This is $43 as an add-on. This is an insert that you will build together from foam core. It'll come in sheets and you'll put it together. And I acquired some folded space inserts when they were just starting out. Everything was gray back in the day. But as you can see, they are now printing on it and they look much nicer. The one thing that I will say that is a detriment with folded space is that they don't usually have lids. So some things like game trays will come with lids and you can put the lids on them in storage. So when you turn the box up on its side, if you're putting it in a calyx cube or carrying it around, everything will stay in its containers. Folded space is a much cheaper option. Sometimes it's not designed so well, so there is some lid lift when you use various folded space inserts in various games, which I'm not a huge fan of. And even with or without the lid lift, because there aren't lids on the individual storage trays, sometimes with these folded space inserts, you'll turn the box up on its side, all the components spill out because there are no lids and it doesn't pack tightly enough to keep everything together. So I'm not sure if that's the case with this. It looks like it probably is since I don't see lids, but just something to be aware of when you're considering that purchase of this add-on folded space. They make very affordable, fairly decent quality add-ons, but there can be component spillage because there's usually not a lid option. So just something to be aware of. And then if we go down into the actual add-on section here, there are a few more things that you can add on. There are extra dice for $12, custom card sleeves for $20, a dice tray for $15, and metal scrap tokens for $25. Keeping in mind that some of the pledges, I believe it's the final one, this Tina's Dynamite Deal of the Day, this does already include metal scrap tokens within this pledge. And then finally, this new expansion for Thunder Road Vendetta and everything else that you're ordering through this campaign. Restoration Games is planning on delivering this stuff in November of 2024. Thank you very much for joining me today and watching some videos together and exploring what I think are your best options for board game campaigns launched between February 21st and the 27th. I hope I've helped you make a backing decision, whether that's identifying if a game is right for you or not, or what pledge you might want to back it at and what add-ons you may want to include or not. I'll be back next week with another video. I'm not quite sure what campaigns I'll be including in that because the big launch day, Tuesday, is still in the future. However, I think it's likely that I'll be including Galactic Cruise and Ready, Set, Bet, which is from John D. Clare. So those two campaigns are likely to be included in next week's video, and beyond that, you'll have to come back and see. Until then, play lots of great games, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.